he didn't want to spend the money on a fucking tree because they look like shit. And because he's a little bit on the broke side because of what happens later on.
Right.
So I think he's like, fuck it, let's just go get our own.
And they go trekking to the tundra of Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. This is clearly Colorado. It has to be. I've never been to Illinois, but
that's definitely Colorado.
I'm not assuming there's these like massive forests in the state of Illinois.
I don't think there are. I mean, I've never been to Illinois, but it seems like a very modern city. I don't see too many places like that, but you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go, and the whole time Audrey's complaining about different parts of her body's freezing from her feet up.
Her face freezes
and
completely.
Then basically, she's completely frozen.
She'll see the tree when her eyes thaw.
Yeah, so they find the big fucking tree, and Russ makes the immediate thing of like, that's not going to fit in our yard. He says, it's not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room. And then asks the logical question of, Dad, did you bring a saw? And he just sort of looks like,
there was like a cartoon.
Boom. And then,
also the list thing, and like the good little family, because his tongue started to freeze. So yes, they somehow, with the power of the Griswold family station wagon...
I'm guessing that's how they did it, because they do say, although they did use their hands to dig it out, because he mentions that later, but yeah, I'm guessing what happened is, they drove the car in, dug it out as much as they could, even though the ground would be frozen, so I can't imagine how you could do that. Maybe he had a shovel in the back of the thing, the station wagon. And then he just, I'm guessing, pulled the thing out by the fucking roots.
Yep.
And
then it's so big, and it's draping over the car, and the comedic scene of that, driving away.
And then they drive away, and then we pull up
to their home, and we meet the neighbors, as they're known in the 80s, yuppies.
The yuppies.
The yuppies.
Todd and Margot.
Yes.
Which you can already tell.
Yes, because who names their child Margot?
Well, it's short for Margaret.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's their interactions make me laugh every fucking time. Just the way that they even introduced themselves to each other, where they're like we'll get to it later. I'll explain. So
he pulls out the tree to get cut, and by the way, a whole Friday the 13th because he's got the hockey mask and the chainsaw, and I'm like, that's two different things, but I get it.
Franchises, but that's cool. But yeah, I do enjoy the fact that they're already assholes.
Yeah,
because they're just like, what the hell does he think he's going to do with that? Yeah. And I'm like, bitch. This doesn't concern you.
Where are you going to put that, Griswold?
Bend over and I'll show you. You've got a lot of nerve talking to me like that. I wasn't talking to you. And then he sort of looks at her.
Looking at Marco.
And she just imply, like, I never, in the yuppie way.
Yeah.
I never thought of it. Well, you know. But again, he never really even says he's talking to her either.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Chops it up, puts it in the house. Cuts it open, and
like, here's the Griswold family Christmas tree, and then it's
bashes through the window,
smashes all the windows, knocks Russ over. By the way, but they cut to him not being knocked over. I liked the idea that he was down, but
a lot of sap,
little full, a lot of sap.
Gotta chop it down, gotta trim the tree.
And then they cut to them in bed, and he can't fucking work a magazine because his hands are covered in sap, and he keeps destroying the magazine. And Ellen patiently having to sort of take it off his hands, and then her starting to get sticky and shit. Like, that's just attention to detail, my friend. That's great stuff.
Watching this movie, it's slowly dawned to me. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but
dawned on you.
Dawned on me. That my marriage is this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know my wife, and you know me.
I've seen your dynamic. I'm pretty much guaranteeing this is exactly your dynamic.
I'm an idiot who would do that and get the tree and get the sap on my hands, and my wife, the good lady wife that I do have, would just be like, come here, you idiot.
There is no part of me in my mind that thinks that this isn't your dynamic. I know you both well enough to know that this is absolutely true. Just saying.
Cut to the office.
Well, hang on. This is where we explain what the hell's going on.
Oh, right, because he explains the in-laws.
Like, he wants to have a big family Christmas, because it's weird because it's vacation, but he's not going anywhere this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. The weird thing is they never explain where they go normally.
I mean, they mention, I think it's Russ who does mention, like, I wish we would have went to Hawaii.
Yeah, but it's like, why were you going? And that actually is what they use to make that bullshit sequel, because that's where it takes place. Cousin Eddie takes the family to fucking Hawaii, apparently.
Yeah.
But why would they go to Hawaii? Like, do they
why go anywhere tropical?
Yeah, like, it seems very odd for them to go somewhere, but I don't know. But he decides...
I mean, they're coming off a European vacation,
I guess, yeah, but they won that. That wasn't intended.
Fair.
You know what I mean? And
but maybe they got a taste of vacation.
Perhaps.
You know what I mean? Abroad.
So far, their other vacation was just driving to fucking Wally World.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's fair.
So, I don't know. But yeah, so they basically are explaining that he's having the entire family over, and I do enjoy Ellen's fucking description of just like, you know, your mother accusing my mother, or no, sorry, my mother accusing your mother of buying the wrong hot dogs, and your mother accusing my mother of waxing her upper lip. And then Clark immediately stops listening. This is me to a T, by the way. Where Clark's, your mother waxes her upper lip? She has for years. Doesn't show. And then that's the end of the conversation. That is my relationship with every girl I've ever lived with. Whereas I'll fixate on one thing that they said and not give a shit about what you're trying to help me with. That's the thing. But ended up, basically, he's just like, this is what I want. And then he's just like, when have I ever... she's like, you build these things up in your mind, and they never turn out the way you want. And he goes, well, when have I ever done that? And she starts listing it. Yeah. And it's just constantly everything. And he's just like, okay, honey. Goes to kiss her, gets his hand stuck in her hair, pulls her hair, and then tries to turn off the light, gets his hand stuck in the lamp. Because it's a physical comedy, and this shit's genius. It sounds stupid when I say it, but if you watch it, it actually is hilarious.
No, I don't even think it's debatable that Chevy Chase is one of the best physical comedians of all time.
It's not debatable.
You know what I mean?
His physical delivery mixed with that dry...
Like, why they... whoever decided that he's going to play Gerald Ford on SNL and be just this absolute buffoon...
Yeah. It was
who fumbles over everything...
Well,
is amazing.
It was genius, and yeah, Chevy Chase, say what you will about him being an asshole, he is a comedic genius.
Well, yeah, no. Listen.
That's why we've put up with him.
Next week, we're going to get to another guy who's a bit...
Oh, yeah, he's dodgy. And
dodgy.
Trust
but
me.
You can't deny genius.
Oh.
Comedic genius.
Believe me, next week, the director says just that, pretty much.
So we cut to the office. He does explain his whole plan of getting the pool, and he's already got a down payment, but he's okay because the Christmas bonus will cover it.
Yeah.
I also like that little Tasmanian mug.
I was thinking the same thing. I want one of those.
Mug. It reminded me of the old... was it McDonald's?
No,
it was
the rubber ones? It was KFC.
It's KFC?
Because I still put my guitar picks in Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to my place, you've seen that.
Taz was one of them, too.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
It was Taz, Bugs.
But this is more like a ceramic one.
It was Taz, Bugs, Daffy, and I think Marvin.
Yeah. Then we get Mr. Shirley Frank with his bunch of yes men. He gets his name wrong, I think, twice.
He only gets his name right at the end, and he says his name a bunch of times. Can we point out that he's talking to Discount Alan Thicke? Yeah. Like, that guy, I've seen him in a bunch of shit.
He's a character actor, yeah.
But, yeah, he's always, to me, I've always looked, I was like, wow, there's Discount Alan Thicke. It's just so much, he looks exactly the same.
Then as the yes men are leaving, it's Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, kiss my ass, kiss his ass, kiss your ass, Happy Hanukkah. I'm sure there was more than one take of that, because if you're those guys, how do you not at least snicker?
That was a thing that I didn't put in the notes, and I probably should have. Chevy Chase would give you 400 different sayings for everything. It was like nobody was following any script, and that's probably why I didn't put it in there, because just assume most of this stuff is improvised. Yeah. Because like they would walk by and he would give them a different one every time. Yeah.
And they probably use the best one. Mm-hmm. Cut to the department store. Clark looking at lingerie.
Yeah, because this is the next day. See, we're getting in the vignette thing where they open a door and it's the next day.
Yeah.
And we get a montage of everybody's buying shit all over the place. So he's at a jewelry stand, and this is also what I would say Chevy Chase is brilliant at, being awkward.
Yeah.
And so he's looking at stuff, and then this obvious model, pretending to be an actor today, shows up and just starts talking to him about everything, and he's just like completely enthralled by her, and he's just like, "Ooh, it's hot in here," and he picks up one of the underwear and starts patting his head, and he just tries to put it in his pocket, and it falls out. He goes, I'm fine. It's like, why do they make it so hot in here? And she goes, maybe because you have your coat on. Oh, do I? Why? Because it's cold out? Yes. It is a bit nipply out.
Nippy
out. What did I say, nipple? And then she said, and this is probably my favorite reaction to the whole thing, she goes, "Can I show you something?" And it's a pause. And he just starts giggling and losing his shit. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. his reaction is hilarious. And then he's clearly gotten over his ridiculous... Because he does say at one point, he's just like, I'm looking for something for my wife. God rest her soul. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, no, she's not dead.
What?
What?
We're divorced.
Yeah.
Why would you be buying your ex-wife lingerie? But okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. So then they're actually having a conversation, and she's talking about how high the fucking
the
cut is, and she goes, "I'm wearing something simple," and shows her. I'm like, that would never happen in a store ever in any time period. I know it's the '80s, but no, that would not happen.
No.
And Russ looks over and just starts smiling, and like, well, there's my dad. Walks over, and then he's just, and then
hey, you can barely see it, Russ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dad.
Says, can't see it, can you, Russ? No, Dad. And he just stops and goes, uh-oh. And that's kind of Thursday.
Well, weird. I do like, it's like, what, 'tis the season to be merry. That's my name. No shit.
Chevy Chase is fucking great, man. Holy
Cut
shit.
to the arrival of the in-laws. And I like how it's like this Jurassic Park thing. Like, they're all just kind of doing stuff around the house, and they all just kind of feel it, and they're like, oh no.
Oh, fuck, here we go.
You might as well see the glass of water shake a little bit.
If that scene had existed, they absolutely would have taken it. But yeah, it's just Ding Dong being very ominous and like...
Opens the door and they're all yelling at each other.
Folks, Merry Christmas. And then it's like just a flood.
Yeah.
And by the way, all of this improvised.
Oh yeah?
The whole fucking thing was improvised.
Look at this mole and...
I like that. This mole. You see this mole? Is it changing color? Well, you're rubbing it, so it's getting redder, but it's fine.
You rub Graham's feet. We'll give you a quarter. And I love how he laughs. Oh, a whole quarter.
A whole quarter. Yeah. I'll give Audrey a quarter too, Audrey.
Dad, please help.
And then it's just sort of
one of them brings up their hemorrhoids.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite Beverly D'Angelo moments, where she's just like, "Can you believe I've got hemorrhoids?" Oh, mother.
I love the in-laws so much.
Well, because also they started out by not even like showing them saying hi to each other. It was just like she's saying something repeatedly, and Ellen's just like, "You promised, you promised, you promised, you promised," as in you're not going to say it.
Yeah.
And then the older men are just arguing about who's going to be parking the cars. I'm parking it. No, I'm parking. I got it. It's fine. We're doing it. I'm doing it. And then eventually,
that is such an old man argument.
It really is. And then everybody splits, and Ellen's just like, "Whew, okay." And then he just goes, "All right, well, I'll go park the cars and fix the house, and I'll be outside for the season."
Yeah.
And yeah.
And see, that's kind of where it ends for a bit for the vignettes, because now the next little bit's all one big go at it. Him going to hang up the lights, getting fucking Russ to deal with a giant ball of lights that are as giant as he is.
He's going to make the penultimate house lighting, and he's just like, "Dad, that's a lot of lights." He goes, "Yeah, but it's worth it."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Again, more physical comedy of him on the roof, stapling his
I like
hanging off the rafters, him stapling one of his sleeves to the rafters.
And then he rips it off, falls back while still on the ladder, but lands on a tree and pushes himself off the tree back onto the trussel, and then grabs a hold of the what are the ducts, and he's got it. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm close. No, that's later. Sorry."
Yeah.
So he manages to sort of be still back in the house, but he falls in between the ladder and the house, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then he goes around and he's fine. And then
we cut to the dad sleeping because they're old men. And that's what they do. And moms are either smoking or drinking.
Yeah. One's doing both.
Yeah.
Ellen's mom's drinking and smoking, and Clark's mom is trying to make a gingerbread house while blowing the smoke away from her face. And then Audrey is bitching to Ellen, like, "Hey, I don't, can we not have him say I'm going to the bathroom when the boys call and shit like that?" And Ellen
would it be indecent to ask the in-laws,
to stay at a hotel,
grandparents to stay at the hotel?
And she's like, I have to sleep with my brother. Do you know how sick and twisted that is? And then Ellen comes back with, "I have to sleep with your father. We're all making sacrifices." And then the worst part, the most do as I say, not as I do thing is Ellen finally finds the pack of cigarettes she's been looking for, lights a cigarette, and her mom, who's been chain smoking, goes, "Ellen, are you smoking again?" "No," and then cuts lettuce.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was that?
This is where he launches an ice torpedo into the yuppie's house.
So Clark slides the fuck off the roof after being told not to.
Yeah.
And then he hangs on the trellis for a minute, and then it just sort of swings over, and he launches an ice dart through the neighbor's house into the weirdest looking